All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Terrorists open fire on vehicles plying Kwara Kogi Highway in sustained attacks. Terrorists on Tuesday evening again attacked travelers along the Eruku Egbe Highway near the Kwara Kogi border in Ekiti local government area of Kwara State. Sahara reporters gathered that the incident occurred around 6 p.m. near the volatile Eruku community. The armed assailants reportedly opened fire on vehicles plying the roads. Now, they are coming up. Before you know, they will come and occupy the Abuja to Lokoja roads. And we are in November now. Towards December, first week, they would have taken over those places. And I don't know how it is going to be. I don't know how the situation is going to be for those who will be traveling down south from the northern part of this country this festive period. We have gone past the stage of just talking. The problem is right at our doorstep now. So you have to be extremely careful. Life no get duplicates. This life does not have duplicate, and if it is kidnapped, if a person is kidnapped, the kind of money that these people ask for, many over 95% of Nigerians will not be able to supply such money. So we have to be extremely careful. This is the situation on our hands. The federal government is not doing anything about it, and these guys have taken over our forest. So let us be extremely careful along the Abuja, Lokoja, Kogi, Kwara Expressway. Now, let us look at the top stories. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike in very serious trouble. Soldiers have now risen up against him, asking that they cannot take this. They said disciplinary action must be taken against Nyesom Wike. And I'm afraid that if that is to be, Wike being removed as FCT Minister cannot be ruled out at this point. First of all, it was Osita Chidoka, former minister, who said that any officer that is wearing his full uniform standing in front of you represents the commander-in-chief of armed forces. So he said everything that Wike said to that officer, he was saying to Tinubu. And next was that one coming from the ex-twelve chief of defense staff, Buratai. Buratai is calling for serious action against Nyesom Wike for his conduct, and the presidency is now under serious pressure, especially with the fact that one military coup was just averted, and now generals are angry with the government. What is going to be the reaction of the presidency? Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video.
Well, amidst growing apprehension after Trump ordered the U.S. Department of Defense to prepare for possible action in Nigeria over reported killings of Christians in the country, actor and comedian Emmanuel Orekai has issued an emotional appeal to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the federal government of Nigeria, demanding urgent action to address the nation's security and economic challenges. While in his latest social media post, the comedian welcomed Trump's offer to eliminate terrorists in the country while criticizing those who claim that the United States has ulterior motives other than the rescue mission. Let's take a look.
You say that Trump is coming to pack your resources. Which resources? Which resources? My brother don't graduate in seven years. He don't see work. Many graduates are dead. They don't see work. Graduate is doing a work of 70,000 a month. 70,000 a month. What are you benefiting? What are you benefiting as a Nigerian? What are you benefiting? They're kidnapping your people every day. If they're going, you will travel from here to Lokoja now. If they don't kidnap your papa. Then they kidnap full boss. Nigerian police cannot say anything. Nigerian army cannot do anything. But as Trump talked with yesterday now, Nigerian army say they don't kidnap, they don't catch 17,000 people, 7,000 So you can catch these criminals since you are waiting for Trump to talk. You are waiting for Trump to talk. No food, no water, no road, no light, no health care. Go to UBTH, go to any hospital, go to Zaria, go to any hospital, and see the problem there. So they want to come and visit, they want to come and take your resources. Which resources? Is it your cassava? Is it your oil? Is it the gold that I didn't pack in the gold before? You asked the president to pack the gold. Money will they give local government make to do road. You do the road. You do the road and they ask you. You're making math in comment section that they want to pack your resources. Which resources do you have? Are you benefiting just in Nigeria?
I mean, his frustration right there speaks loud.
Yeah.
I mean, some people were cracking up, but at the same time, he spoke the valid truth.
This is what the streets is saying.
You saw that. You know, when they say that the politicians in Nigeria, the political class, the government keeps Nigerians poor so that they will be able to control their minds. You may wonder, do you just automatically begin to control people's minds when they are poor? Is that possible? Believe me, it is. When Donald Trump said he was going to come into Nigeria to attack terrorists if they don't stop the killings of Christians in Nigeria, when he alleged a Christian genocide in Nigeria, I thought that everybody was going to say, well, if he is coming in to take out the terrorists, then let him come in and do so. But I never believed that we will get to a point where some ordinary Nigerians, some though not everybody, some ordinary Nigerians began to buy into the narrative that Donald Trump was actually coming into this country with the aim of taking our resources. And as the speaker was saying there, even if that were to be true, do you benefit from the resources? Resources that it is the likes of Wike and people in government that are benefiting from it. Now your own life is at stake. You can't even travel along your roads again because of the same people that Trump is saying he wants to eliminate. And somebody is telling you that you should oppose that move by Trump because he is coming to take resources, and you are buying into that narrative, resources that you don't benefit from. So, of course, only few Nigerians are buying into that narrative. Most people have been calling for Trump to make haste and come and intervene. But I get angered when I see those few people saying that Trump is trying to come and take our resources. What do you benefit from these resources? It is the same thing that happens when they rig elections. Most people may vote against the APC, but there will be some few people that will vote for them, and they ride on the back of those people's misbehavior to rig the elections. And that is why I have urged those who have been tagging Donald Trump and the US government and those senators on Twitter and Facebook and other social media platforms not to relent. We must continue to tag them, because I'm still doubtful. Is America going to intervene in this thing, or are they just going to say, let us forget about it? I am still doubtful, and that is why I tag them close to 20 times in a day. We need some sort of help from external sources. And if we can get it from the Trump-led US government, it will be most fantastic. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that one coming from Osita Chidoka. Very strong words against the misbehavior of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. And next was that very big one coming from the ex-twelve Chief of Army Staff, Buratai. Buratai is calling for serious discipline of Wike for what he did to a commissioned officer. And he used some words. He said it is a breach of national security. And you know what that means, especially when we just had a coup attempt few weeks ago. Let's start by taking that update from Osita Chidoka. Look at how the papers reported it. Osita Chidoka, Minister Wike, power, process, and the rule of law. Any law enforcement officer in uniform or plain clothes represents the president and the sovereignty of the Nigerian state. To abuse such an officer is to diminish the authority of the republic itself. Minister Nyesom Wike's decision to personally enforce a directive at a disputed site was a fundamental misstep. In constitutional democracies, power operates through institutions, not impulse. Did you read that? He said any law enforcement officer in uniform or plain clothes represents the president and the sovereignty of the Nigerian state. He said so to trample on that is to diminish the authority of the republic itself. This is the interpretation of what Nyesom Wike did yesterday at that site. This interpretation is coming from Osita Chidoka, and believe me, this is valid. And I am shocked that the Tinubu camp that has been looking for a way to get rid of Wike, I am shocked that Wike presented this opportunity to them himself. At this point, a sack of the FCT minister Nyesom Wike can no longer be ruled out. And if it does not happen now, they may look for a way to make it happen later. Because a lot of people come and say Wike is the one that will help them rig election in Rivers State. Let me tell you something. With the way these people are going, they don't exactly need Wike. If you are not going to transfer election results from polling units to the IREV, even secondary school boys can rig election for you. You see, that's why I'm insisting on that transfer of election results. If that thing is not in place, anybody can rig an election for you. So the power that Wike thinks he has, maybe on the presidency or anybody, is not as strong as it was before, especially with Fubara now in the fold. It may not materialize immediately now, but I am telling you, this will not end well for Wike. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to this, that brutal update from ex-12 Chief of Army Staff, General Buratai, began making the rounds. Buratai actually used some very strong and sensitive words there. He called Wike's actions a threat to national security, a breach of national security. That is like a coup. It is tantamount to what Chidoka was saying here, but he used bigger words. Look at how the papers reported it. Buratai, Wike's verbal assault on soldier undermines national security. Tukur Buratai, a former chief of army staff, has criticized Nyesom Wike, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, over a face-off with military personnel over a disputed plot of land. On Tuesday, videos surfaced online showing Wike in a heated argument with military personnel at a site in Abuja, the nation's capital. In a statement, Buratai said the incident poses a clear threat to national security and requires an immediate and serious response. His public disparagement of a uniformed officer of the Nigerian Armed Forces transcends mere misconduct. It represents a palpable threat to national security and institutional integrity. The statement read, "A minister's verbal assault on a military officer in uniform is an act of profound indiscipline that strikes at the core of our nation's command and control structure. It deliberately undermines the chain of command, disrespects the authority of the commander-in-chief, and grievously wounds the morale of every individual who serves under the Nigerian flag. Such actions erode the very foundation of discipline upon which our national security apparatus stands. These cannot be dismissed as political theater. It is a reckless endangerment of national order. This action by Wike is clearly an indication of undermining the federal government's authority. Our nation's security must come first. It is time for decisive action, not politics of military bashing. The integrity of our armed forces demands nothing less," Buratai said. I don't know if you understand the weight of what Buratai was dishing out here. But if you don't understand, then you need to go over what he wrote again. He said a lot. He was saying one major thing here, but he said it in many ways. He said the action that must be taken against Nyesom Wike for what he did there, he said the action has to be immediate and it must be very serious. Read between the lines. What is a serious action that you can take against an appointed minister if he does something like that? What is the serious action if not to sack him? And then he began spelling out the weight of what Wike did there. He said it undermines our national security. It is a threat to national security. He said it breaches the discipline upon which the armed forces stand on. He said it bruises the morale of all the people serving and have served under the Nigerian flag. That is the biggest one. It bruises the morale of the people that have served and are serving under the Nigerian flag. That is all uniformed men. He has bruised their morale because he is a civilian, an appointed civilian, and he was addressing a commissioned officer like that. So he has bruised the morale of all uniformed men. And when you bruise their morale, what will be their reaction? Their reaction is to attack you, to show you the lion in them. So Buratai was sending a very cryptic message there. As a matter of fact, he was all but telling Tinubu that if you sack Wike today, you have boosted the morale of all the uniform men, because they will know that you respect them. They will now know that you will not allow them to be trampled upon and walked upon by a civilian who wants to take over all the plots of lands in Abuja. You want to collect that land and give to your 21 or 23-year-old son. You collect the land of a major general. Yes, we know that these soldiers, it's not as if we love them like that. But these are people who signed death warrant, put their lives down for the country. Then you collect a land from him and give it to your own 23 or 24-year-old son. Does that make any sense? I think Wike is in big trouble. If something does not happen immediately, there will be something cooking waiting for him. That is just the fact. How do you do this and get away with it? We have told this man about his drunkenness. You just get drunk and you go all around doing whatever you want to do. Let us see how Wike is going to pull out of this. Anyway, this is the APC. I am not surprised. They have come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. The entire institutions in this country have become a mess. Everything has turned upside down to the point that a minister believes that he is bigger than all the army generals, the major generals in this country put together. But do you blame him? It is the extent, the level that the military have brought themselves to. But with the attacks that Wike is getting from military officers after this outburst, there is no limit to what may be the penalty against Wike. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.